Check, check. Yes, 5 minutes early. Usually there's music and stuff, everybody, but maybe make you fall asleep. No, this is why I don't stream on Mondays. It's a very busy day for me, Phil. But welcome. Yeah, usually we get 15 minutes of music, if in case anybody's wondering. But yeah, been too busy, so I couldn't get here in time to start the music 15 minutes before the show. I've just got in, threw my coat off, put the headphones on, and 4 minutes to spare. Jesus. Busy. How is everybody? Welcome. We got the special interview today with Martin Condon to find out what's been going on with his court cases and stuff. That's a good idea. Drink some whiskey. Who's out there? Pagan, Filmy Balls, Fire Top. He's going to do a jump scare. Oh, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Damn. Hello? I'm just waiting to see if that chat box works. It didn't work last time. And it doesn't seem to be working now. Oh, no, there it is. Evelyn said, hi, everyone. And that has came up, but Pagan and Mad Dog didn't. Weird. Okay, but it's loaded up now. Good evening, everybody. Hope no music's playing in the background. We're all good. Yes. Right then. All good. Martin has the link. He'll be here in his own time very soon. Got Evelyn Bland, welcome. J5420, sup, bro? Keystone Cultivars, what's going on, Mackie? Yes, yes, ammo shit, bro. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Who else do we have? Mad Dog has arrived. Yeah, just keep saying hi as you arrive, everybody. I need to go grab a smoke. I completely fucking forgot about that. Damn. I don't want to leave you in silence for a second while I go and grab my thing. Sup, Jay? Thanks for joining us. Let me go grab a thing. Look how unprofessional I am. Here we go. I'm back. Don't panic, everybody. It's okay. It's okay. What's up, Ash? Yes, special edition live. Usually we do these interviews with what is it? That's his best joke. Did I tell a joke? Yeah, usually we do interviews on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are usually exclusively to Patreons. But I thought because today's what was the dad joke? What did I say? Let me grab my thing. Don't want to leave you alone for it. No, I can't even remember what I said. The silence was your best joke. Oh, ha 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 ha! You crack me up, Billy. You crack me up. Yeah, thanks everybody for your unending support. Jesus, what a bunch of cunts. But we would not be the same without the professionalism. You know what I'm saying, Mad Dog? You've been around for a while. You know how it is. I'm going to hit that record button because Martin is already here. Record on this computer.
Recording in progress.
There we go. That's my female assistant from Zoom. Reliably so. Yeah, okay. Martin's here. Let's quick. Everybody take a quick draw on your cannabis cigarettes before we begin. Let's go. This is some of that blunt left over from yesterday. You know, I was talking on the show yesterday. I had that blunt. This is just some of that left over. Yeah. Delicious. But I didn't bring an ashtray in or anything, so now I've got no way to put it out, and I can't smoke it all. And it won't go out on its own, it'll just keep burning. So I'm vaping my medical cannabis, not breaking the laws. Fair play, Ash. You have to do what you have to do, mate. But yes, as long as you're consuming. So I think we're ready. Let's let Martin in and find out what the fuck's going on. Let's do it. Take a draw on his goodness. Mouse Chronic, what's up? Adam Bombs here. What's up? Martin is just joining now, connecting to audio. There we go. Hello. Technical issues. Oh, there he is. Just putting his headphones on.
Whoop, are we?
Yo, yes, I can hear you, bro. I can hear you. Good?
Yes, I was just panicking thinking I forgot my pre-rolls, but I just left fucking them. I was about to say, give me a second, I run in and see if I left them on the microwave.
Man, I had to take a second there as well and run and grab a blunt.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
You
Good
know,
man.
busy, busy family men. That's what it is. You know, it's Monday. We're all busy doing things, and we had to just run around so we can get here in time for the stream. You know what I'm
Oh man, you
saying?
wouldn't believe what I had to do there. My missus gave the kids some fucking chocolate dips there before she brought them to bed, and they destroyed the place. Like so, I was mad
God
rushing around like scrubbing all that stuff up before having to get
damn.
do other chores before having to get out and do this here. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
just
cool,
glad I got
man.
it all
That's cool.
done. So once I'm done with this, we can just chill.
That's cool, man. How's the family?
Everybody's good, yeah. Fucking happy days. Yeah, no complaints. Yeah, it's the only one fucking doing unwell has been myself, unfortunately. But I'm alive and
As usual,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know. Shit,
yeah.
man.
But
How is the health? Are you doing better? How's?
yeah,
Excuse
yeah,
me.
no, no,
Harsh
no.
blunt. Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, hit that shit, man. But not doing much better. The last couple of weeks, thank God. I've not been in hospital now since just going on 3 weeks now.
Oh gosh.
Friday just gone, is it?
You
Yeah,
spent
yeah.
some time in hospital, bro?
Oh man, I've been in and out of it there the last couple of months. Having
Oh
the
no.
epilepsy, my seizures have just kind of flared up. For what reason, I don't really know. Stress could be that, could be just fucking
Mm.
old age.
Both,
Um,
mate. Both.
maybe a bit of both, exactly. But yeah, who knows? Not really getting any answers from the doctors as such, except just take your medication. I'm saying, yeah, no bother, and can I get some cannabis as medication? And they're like, no.
No, no, get out. You can't talk like
Yeah,
that, you degenerate druggery. That's what they're doing.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
And
fucking hell.
before I suppose we get into all the other stuff about the cases and just will we go on that topic on the medical cannabis thing, like I'm not actually like just to clear it out with you, I'm not even looking for THC. I'm actually looking for Epidiolex off my consultant, which is a CBD based medication. Like I've no shortage of high THC bud, like the things disappear in here now, like but these fucking Grove bags are decent. But like getting high THC stuff isn't really a problem at all. But getting high quality CBD based medications, that's not going to break the bank that I'm able to
Mm,
get through my prescriptions. I should be afforded that as a patient, but I'm just not yet. Still here in Ireland, so
wow.
hence why I've had to take the stand I did, and the reason why I'm on with you that now, is that the patients over here, they're just not being taken care of at all, especially patients who need access to cannabis as a medicine.
Unbelievable, man. It's shit to see that this struggle is still going on this side of the pond, because we have the same issues here in the UK. But damn, man, it's just a
Yeah.
struggle all the time for all these people who need it for medicine. It's
And
ridiculous.
as bad as you think it is in the UK, like I hear people here all the time talking about, man, what if I get an address in the UK? What if I can get an address up the north? Can I get a prescription then and just get my stuff
Mm.
sent to that address and then have it sent here to Ireland? So people here in
Hmm.
Ireland are actually looking at the UK as maybe an answer to their problems.
That's
Like,
right.
so
Yeah.
I'll tell you how desperate we are here. Like,
Hmm. No, it just reminds me of that meme where you've got like a fish, like I wish I could walk, and you got a dog like I wish I could swim, and all these. We're always looking at everybody else, thinking, oh, I wish I could do that. But for
uh,
the guys in Ireland looking at the UK, we look at the USA, he being in the UK, and be like, oh, I wish I was over there doing that. But it's funny
yeah,
how the other half live, isn't it?
yeah,
Madness,
yeah,
man.
it's absolutely insane.
Damn. So you still no change in the law over in Ireland.
Yeah, no, I suppose. Like, it's the fact that I'm still sitting here talking to you, that's something in itself because
Mm-hmm.
I quite right, I should have been put into prison the other day, it was
Numerous times, bro. Not just the other day. Numerous times.
yeah. And I suppose, touch wood, but that there's still a possibility I could go to the prison for some of those charges. What I'm out now on is probation for six of the seven. One of them was dismissed. So
Yep.
I can talk about that case that was dismissed in its entirety. But
Okay.
these other cases that have been dismissed, I can't really talk specifically about those as such. Like,
Yeah, that's cool, man. Don't be putting yourself in any trouble or anything like that. It's good to just catch up and find out how you are. Never mind everything else. It's been a
yeah,
while, man. It seems
no,
like it's been like at least 6 months since you've been on the show.
yeah, yeah, no, it's been quite a bit, and geez, even just getting the headphones and stuff like that out of here, like I was blowing a lot of dust off of these things. Like,
Damn.
literally, it's been that long since I've been live
So no
on.
420
Right.
news, no interviews. You've been just because of the health and I suppose because of the
Just
stress.
yeah, with the health, the family, and stuff like that. Just been making sure everybody's all right, really.
Mm-hmm.
just not being able to get out and give the time into it.
Man,
Um,
but even still, you've given enough time. You know, you've done a lot for the cannabis community in Ireland, man, and I'm sure everybody in Ireland appreciates it. We even appreciate it here in the UK and the USA just to know that there's guys like you with these massive bollocks walking around trying to change things. You know what I mean? It's we appreciate it, man.
yeah, yeah. Well, look, it's not about anybody could really do this. There's nothing special at
Nah,
all.
man,
You
don't
need to be
downplay it,
there.
bro. Not anybody.
I'm
If
honestly,
anybody could do it, I would be doing it. But I don't have the balls of your caliber, bro.
it was just like I just couldn't take it anymore, Mackie. Really, like
Mm-hmm.
I first got caught with cannabis going back like when I was 17, not long before my 18th birthday it was,
Mm-hmm.
because I turned 18, and then the cunts came after me and treated me like an adult. So because I got caught when I was 17, it should have been just dismissed and held dealt with kind of at the side of the road, almost like just at the Garda station. I shouldn't have ever been brought to court. But the fuckers actually brought me to court for that one and treated me as an adult. Even
Wow.
though when I was caught with it, I was not an adult. And that created a lot of problems for me at that time. You know, the fucking summons coming to the door that caused all sorts of problems with my family. But that evening that I got caught, I just instant as soon as I got home, I was straight online, and I could remember that law that he quoted, the Section 3 of the Misuse of Drugs Act 1977, which is basically personal possession of drugs. I went home, I looked that thing up, man, and I read it inside and out, and I just from there I just couldn't accept it. I just felt so wronged, and I was just trying to find any way I could to challenge this, and that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much what I've been doing since then. But what just the straw that broke the camel's back then really was like Vera Toomey
Oh yeah,
and
tragic.
her daughter Eva.
Mm-hmm.
That was really the straw that broke the camel's back. That along with Alicia Maher as well. I
Mm-hmm.
just couldn't really take it anymore. I would have
Just the
joined.
level of injustice, isn't it? It's unreal.
No, it's injustice, suffering needlessly, and then on the other side, treating people like myself, yourself, anybody caught with a little bit of cannabis as criminals, when the real criminals are the people denying us the medication. You know
Absolutely.
that's where the real crime is denying people access to this.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely insane. But with Vera Toomey, I would have joined her on her walk that time to Dublin. She walked from Cork to Dublin almost I think it's almost 300 kilometers or over 300 kilometers, but it was one hell of a walk. It was such a walk that she ended up finishing it in a wheelchair. But
Damn.
I was doing a 3 month bloody college placement in Erasmus over in Dijon in France, and I unfortunately had to kind of watch that unfold from there. Otherwise, I would have done the whole bloody thing with her. But that for me was that was enough. Once I was getting back from Dijon, I was like, no, we really have to take a stand, and I really was pushing, hard on the civil disobedience side. I was really trying to egg people on, like push people on to get into that because
Mm-hmm.
like we just can't accept this what they're doing to these patients, and the many more out there, who are afraid to even ask about it, who
Yeah.
who are afraid to even explore it as an option. Google it because, geez, if I Google it, they might knock down my
Yeah.
door.
They'll
And
they'll know my search history. I gotta
yeah,
use
yeah.
a VPN to
Or,
Google
or
cannabis.
or they might be afraid to talk to their doctor about it because they'll have the social services onto me if
Mm-mm.
it's about their child, getting their child access to this. It's just so backwards. So
It's madness, mate.
I just can't understand how there aren't more people out there like me. As I said, I just don't see anything. I look in the mirror, I really
But
don't see
that's
anything
as I said,
like
mate. You've got these massive bollocks, man. Because there's lots of people in the same position as you.
but I
You know,
don't.
with
Like,
kids.
I'll honestly, I'll get herself out there and she'll tell you they're tiny. I swear.
No, it's cold in Ireland, man. Shit. But damn, the metaphorical gonads. All right, let's say it like that. But shit, yeah, and just in case as well, because you briefly touched it there, and you've been on the show many times. We've done loads of interviews. People listening, if you haven't checked out the interviews with Martin, go and check them out, man. We always have a good conversation, but you can hear more of his backstory there. But briefly, you want to run everybody through this shit, Martin, because you was a young lad, 17. You was pulled over by the police, had a small amount of cannabis, and they treated you like an absolute criminal degenerate, and that's where it all started for you, innit?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much. And that first time I actually went to court, I got offered a free legal aid. So I took it, and that guy, it was Frank Buttermore who gave it to me. He's still in there, man. He's rocking. He's cleaning up. His daughter actually represented me now. What's that? Nearly 17 years later, is it? I'm 30,
Wow.
17. Yeah, that's 17 years later, and like his daughter is representing me now, and that man was representing me back then. I've watched him age throughout the years as I was kind of getting out
And
the
he's
just
watched you too, man. You know.
yeah, maybe so.
Mm.
But I can remember that time when he came to me and kind of asked me about my case, and really like he just wanted to like give me the quick details because I've got a hell of a lot of work to do, and I wasn't the guy that he needed to be hearing from because I was like, Mayor Frank, this is wrong. I was like, they're violating my rights. We need to challenge this. And he's like, no, you got caught with cannabis, but just plead guilty, pay a donation to the poor box, and you'll be home there before lunch. I was like, no, but I didn't do anything wrong. And he was like, no, but you got caught with cannabis, didn't you? I was like, yeah, but they're violating my rights. He was like, no, I don't have any more time for this. Look, you're pleading guilty, or I won't be able to represent you as basically.
Wow.
Hey,
Fucking
yeah, more,
hell.
more or less that. Like it was absolutely insanity. So I pretty much kind of had to accept what he was saying, because what he told me on the other side is if I plead not guilty, that I could end up in prison. Even
Yeah.
though it was my first time challenge getting caught with cannabis, if I was to challenge it, if I was to not accept it and admit that what I was doing was wrong, that I could end up getting a much bigger fine or go to a higher court and have to face a potential prison charge, So
Mm-mm.
he was trying like putting the fear into you, like intimidating you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, it's a little on me, and look at the fucking size of that justice system. Like him there in his suit, as a solicitor. I'm
And you,
fucking
young kid, man, 17,
exactly.
18, you were when we went to court,
I would have
probably.
been
Yeah.
18 then, yeah,
Yeah. But
exactly.
still, yeah, I mean, they think that people are adults when they turn 18, but when I look back, when I was 18, absolute fucking idiot. You know, I had no idea what was going on. I thought I did, had it all sussed, it was all good, but no, I had no idea what was going on, man. And it's a shame that kids get taken advantage of in that way because they're just for the possession of cannabis.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
absolutely. We get
toe the
pulled with.
line, man. Toe the line. Say that you did wrong, or we're gonna lock you up.
Yeah, well, what went on from then that it was really annoying because it wasn't that you got caught that one night. You become a target then there afterwards
Mm.
because that night I got caught, I was actually out with my partner who still I'm with today. We 4 kids together, but we were up at the back of the airport place. I actually bring my kids today to watch the airplanes land. Really cool spot to hang out. So I was up there, and at night time, it's a cool spot to hang out with your girlfriends. So you're up there doing what you would be doing with your girlfriends, just hanging out, smooching, and what have you. And when we were driving back, that's when we got pulled over. The lights came on and what have you. Like I wasn't even consuming cannabis up there or anything like that, but I did happen to have a little bit of hash inside in the car. And when they just pulled you over, then absolutely just completely intimidated. Sorry, I absolutely forgot the point I was going to be making there on
But you
that
just
one.
explaining where you were. So you was out watching the planes with your girlfriend. You got in the car driving back, blue lights flashing on.
Yeah, and that was pretty much what I was saying. The cops were pulling in then, and it was just absolutely intimidated then at the side of the road. As I say, we were only 17. Myself and my girlfriend hadn't been consuming at all up there. So and I don't think they would have had drug tests at that time, but that wasn't really the issue. It was just, oh, we're going to search in your car. I was like, but why? What did I do wrong? He's like, no, we believe you could have drugs in the car. And you can't challenge that then as they believe you have drugs in the car and then they get to search your car.
So just like that, there's no. I mean, any couple can just walk up to you and be, I'm searching that. I'm searching your car,
Yeah,
and you
this is
can't do
why.
anything about that, even though you've done nothing wrong. There's no. What's the right word, man? I don't know. Cops have their legalese and shit, don't they? But there was no cause for it, just because you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of the reasons they don't want to give up this particular law because it gives them so
Mm.
much power over people.
Mm-hmm.
From that time, then I would have been targeted time and time again by the guards. That was the point I was actually trying to make is where I was on that evening. I was in the car and I was trying to explain why I was in the car, I suppose, and why I had a little bit of hash in there. But the car then got flagged. That was the point I was trying to make. And from then on, that car was just getting pulled in all the bloody time. I was being targeted, obviously, then as well, but the car was more tagged than anything. Every time, like I must have got stopped and searched between the ages 17 and 21 easily 100 times,
Fuck's
and I would
sake.
easily, and I would have been caught with stuff probably maybe about 5, 6 of those times.
That's fucked,
There's nothing
man.
you can do. You get no receipt. You've no proof that it actually happened as such. And like you don't really want to challenge them either, you don't want to draw them on you any more than what they're already fecking on your back, I suppose. Because
Mm-mm.
that's how intimidation works.
Damn, man. You must have felt like a prisoner anyway, mate. Like you didn't even have freedom in the first place.
As such, yeah. Well, that's why when I was looking up those laws, and that's when I kind of started exploring like our rights. What are my rights? Like, because this, I feel like my rights have been violated. I feel this is unjust. I feel this is wrong. I just found it so hard. It was like a pill that I just couldn't
Mm-hmm.
swallow.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't swallow this thing. Just like, no, fucking sorry, we got to reshape this thing and somehow so I can fucking swallow it. And the only way that is we got to remove prohibition, and then I'll take my medicine.
It's still fighting it now. God
Yeah,
damn.
yeah. Well, it's like as I was saying to the judge, like and jumping up to the case now, but I was saying to the judge, like, it's a law that I just can't accept. It's an unjust law, and I'm not disrespecting the law and not following it. And I said,
Absolutely. Yeah.
more or less quoting Martin Luther King, I was like, if anything, I'm showing the utmost respect for the law by breaking this unjust law,
Mm-hmm.
And I did quote Martin Luther King then in its entirety, that one, oh geez, consumed a bit too much this evening maybe, but one not only has a legal but a moral duty,
Obligation.
obligation to obey laws, but one
Uh,
also, conversely, one also has a moral uh, obligation, duty to
One of the two. We're
dis
paraphrasing. You know?
disobey unjust laws. There we go. We got through it.
That's it. We
I,
did quote
I
it
got it
yesterday in
spot on. Got it
because we
spot on in the
covered
corner.
your story in the news yesterday, and that's why we got you on today because we want to get more details about what's going on. But
Yeah,
and it did mention that you quoted that. It's like it's your duty to disobey unjust laws.
yeah. Not once, but twice, because the
Mhm, mhm.
superintendent actually in the court had more or less challenged what I was doing and saying, but it's illegal. What you done was illegal. And I goes,
Yeah, but
actually, no.
why?
No. I actually said, actually, no, what I did wasn't illegal. And that's what we're here today to find out if it was. I was exercising my rights, and I believe
Okay,
it's my rights. And I said, in actual fact, I believe my constitutional rights are above the law. And if
nice.
this law is violating my rights, then it wasn't illegal what I done. And I
Mm-mm.
put it in her place because I followed up with that. I goes, and in actual fact, I said, Superintendent, I goes, and the judge will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this court actually isn't even high enough for me to challenge this. I believe I have to be in a high court. And I kind of looked towards the judge then at that point, in which he was like, "Yeah, no, you're absolutely right." And
Damn. Was this in the recent court case?
this is the most recent one, yeah. That was
Right.
the most recent one with the 7 charges for cultivation of cannabis. 36 cannabis plants in total, I believe.
Wow. And it was going to be because one of the cases got thrown out because you didn't actually plant it, and that's what we read yesterday. Kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah, I had brought that cannabis plant into the city center with my megaphone, and on that day I just spoke about the medical benefits of cannabis, the environmental benefits of cannabis, and the economic benefits of cannabis, and the other benefits of ending prohibition and some other bits. But while doing that, I had a massive cannabis plant beside me, inviting people to come up and have a look of it, feel it, touch it, smell it, get a picture with it, and everything. And I must have been there for maybe 30 minutes or so, and didn't get interfered with by the guards at all. I think this might have been during the COVID period. I can't remember the exact date of that
Mm.
particular one. But when I finished up there, I just left the cannabis plant on the bench. And funny enough, the bench I actually left it on was it's a part of one of these fake trees that they bought and erected within the city. So it's like it's supposed to clean the air around it. It's a carbon filter or
Right.
something
Yeah.
like
One
that.
of those. Yeah. Like, why
Bullshit.
not just plant an actual tree?
So while I was there talking about the cannabis plant, I was just talking, making reference to those trees. I was like, look how much of a joke it is that we spend so much money on these. And I was like, look at the damage that we're actually doing to the planet by denying us you know, to really fucking benefit from, explore the benefits of this plant and what it can offer us, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of alternatives to some of the fucking more harmful crude products out there that we be using instead.
Mm-hmm. Now, how many times have you been in court now regarding these cannabis offences? Like all the different, like say cannabis offences, but you know that's the wrong term. These the protests and the civil disobedient events. But how many times have you been to court now for this?
So for this particular case, this one in particular, six charges of cultivation, they had me in and out of court already, I believe, three times now for that case. And each one of those times they had to bring in 10 guards to testify against me. So
Fucking hell.
yeah, so the state had to pay 10 guards to come in and sit there more or less for the day, give evidence against me, because of what I done. And what I done can be seen still up on online on YouTube. But it's like literally just planted a couple of plants, and now the state is paying, as I said, 10 guards, a day's wage to be there in the court, of no benefit to anybody at all in society, because
Mm-mm.
in reality, what risk, what harm am I doing? And in actual fact, I said it to the judge. I was like, there's much more benefit from what I'm doing, and harm. I was like, the only harm befalling anybody is to myself. I was like, but the benefits, everybody's going to benefit if I'm successful in achieving what I am achieving, and I did achieve what I wanted to achieve. I got a national conversation going. I drew
Mm-hmm.
attention to the issue. I knew it wasn't going to change anything as such, but I just wanted to draw attention to it, get people talking about it. And I did that time, when I planted the plants, and I did it just again recently by standing my ground in the court, wearing my cannabis emblazed clothes. Not doing it there now this evening, just didn't get really prepared.
You
Anyway,
think this is court or something? You can just chill in
no,
these clothes.
it wouldn't work with the green screen going there behind me anyway. Well, but you
Just
know,
got your face floating, you know?
yeah, that was more or less my goal. Get people talking. Secondary goal, obviously, is taking this all the way to the High Court and exercising my rights. But the primary goal has always been drawing attention to the issue and getting people talking about this. It's not about me. It's about the issue. It's about cannabis. Nothing special about me. I'm just somebody who's fucking taking a stand, and I hope more people do join me over time.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this now?
Not too fucking long.
Oh, for sure, too long.
Yeah, as I say, so the first day I got caught with cannabis all those years ago, it's like over 17 years.
But
That's
have you
how
been
long. In.
seriously like as you are now? You know you are a proper activist now. You're well in there on the front lines. How long have you been part of the front lines? You've been pissed off for fucking 17 years,
Yeah.
understandably. But
Uh,
you know where did you step up and start doing this shit? How long has that been now?
yeah, I suppose I've been kind of held back, going back as far as like all those years ago. I was
Mm,
more or less of the same opinion. I was always like, this is wrong. We need to fucking take a stand. Let's everybody get together and break this law together. They can't lock us all up. I always could
Mm-hmm.
see the limitations of our prisons. But when I was 18, um I would have joined up with Legalized Cannabis Ireland,
Right.
and that would have been my first interaction with other activists, other cannabis activists, and I would have met a good friend of mine now still today, Graham DeBarra, and another guy, Sean Lynch. And it was through them, I suppose, I would have got calmed down a little bit, would have got more educated about activism and about, you know, challenging laws, about different pathways, and about, you know, protesting and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it was through them, I suppose. It put a halt. It kind of postponed, if you will, you know, my level of civil disobedience, and I'm really thankful for that, because today I've a much fucking stronger foundation of which I'm standing on, you know, because of what these guys helped me build myself up to be today. You know, through them, I
Mm-hmm.
learned the importance of even education. I went back, got my leaving cert. I went on. I got went as far as getting an honors degree in college. I got a level 6 in pharmaceuticals and medical devices, just the regulations on production of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so that was really handy. And then I went on the herbal science, which I focused specifically on the cannabis thing. And throughout my time doing all of that, I ran a student society, the Students for Sensible Drug Policy. So I would have been like incredibly active for all of those years. But it was 2018 I graduated. And it would have been not long after that then when things started kind of escalating with the patients. You know, we had
Mm-hmm.
COVID and stuff like that move in, and I would have been around that time. It would have been, I just couldn't take fucking anymore. I
Is
was,
any of this taken into consideration when you're in the court? Like, let's see this guy's history. He's like, oh, he's studied plant science. Oh, he's studied pharmacy. He's been going off how long? He's been,
well, I'm glad
you,
you brought that up, like, because of what I done. This is the beauty of what I done. Because I went to the guards, because I knew I was going to be getting prosecuted. I was prepared. I was ready for them. So, and I've been through the courts before. So I've been through the interview process by the guards. When a guard catches you with some cannabis, they have to interview you, and they'll have a little book, and they'll ask you questions, and they'll take down word for word everything you say. So if you said, like, is this cannabis? And you say, yeah, they will write down, yeah, and then when they go to court, they'll read out, and when they read it out, it sounds as if you're being pure cheeky or something to them. Yeah,
yeah, that's a good point.
like, it's very, it's weird. So I knew this. I was through this process, so I knew that they were going to have to read word for word everything I said in these interviews. So when I went into the interview, I made sure every one of my interviews that I was making statements of protest. I was making statements as to the importance of what it is that I was doing, so that when I went to court, they had to read out everything I had said. They had to read out again to the judge why I was doing what I was doing, what I had done already. Like, there was one particular interview I had with one guard, and I talked about what you just asked. I talked about, the many pathways I've explored over the years and have met dead ends in attempting to make a change here and in attempting to be able to get legal access to cannabis, legal access to medical cannabis now that, again, I require it more because of my epilepsy. I would always argue I probably required it in the past just for mental health reasons, just for fucking holistic lifestyle reasons, maybe, if you will. Um, but definitely more today as a medicine. But it was amazing to sit there in the court, just sitting there in my cannabis clothes, happy, not intimidated in the slightest, and listen to those guys reading out, Matt, and watching the judge listen to it. And not only that, then they went one further. I was not expecting this one, Mackie, but they played my videos. They played the videos of me planting the cannabis plants, and they played them with the sound on. And they
And
played
then
them
you heard your voice, and you're like, ah, because nobody likes to hear their own voice, do they?
to a point, yeah, definitely at the first part, when we're starting it up.
Cringe.
Yeah, because
Videos from 5 years ago and shit.
yeah, because it's like, all right, everybody, what's happening out there in the hot box? And you're listening to this, and I go, like, oh God, jeez, yeah, that does sound cringy. But then when we get into the heart of the protest, it's much better. I don't mind the sound of my voice then when I'm actually talking about the patients, talking about the actions, the
Mm.
reason behind them, the protest, my past, other patients, their suffering. Evelyn Corrigan, who was another patient who was dragged through the courts, was caught growing some cannabis because she couldn't get it again as a medical patient. I believe she was a multiple sclerosis patient, or was it fibromyalgia? Forgive me, Evelyn, if you're out there, but
I think she is out there. Yeah.
yeah, she suffers with chronic pain anyway. I suppose that was the main thing. And again, I got to bring all these people up I did bring all these people up in the videos, and by those videos being played in the court, the judge again got to listen to it. And that's where you might have read in one of the articles, the judge actually got quoted then, which I believe is a very powerful thing to have quoted, is the judge said I think he said it's ridiculous that this is even illegal. Quoting the fact
Yeah.
what I was doing
Wow.
that time, that this plant and the cannabis plant, the cultivation of
Nice.
cannabis.
So would you be able to work with that judge? Like, can you get in touch with him and be like, yo, you said this is ridiculous. Work with me. I need people like
Oh,
you on my side. Can we do something? Is that an
no,
option?
unfortunately, I wouldn't see it as one. These judges, it's like that. I don't know. They just got too much of a boys' club, if you will. I suppose
Mm-hmm.
like these guys aren't really going to, go like. I don't know how would you even phrase it, like, but they're just not going to like challenge that because of risk of being outed. Then
Right.
they
Yeah, I know
don't
what you're
want to
saying.
be pushed out of the boys' club.
Yeah, they all work in a little crew, but I wonder how many of those judges do go home and hit a little reefer, put on a Martin's World video up on YouTube, and be like, "Send this guy in court today, love."
Not that,
You
but
know what I
they're
mean?
probably into the other things. They're probably into the more finer things. Like they're probably, snorting some bits, or
Mm-hmm.
going for some other, because that does seem to be the more upper class drug, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and when you really look at it, then as well, when you look at fucking reports in the media, you do tend to actually get a lot more report. You rarely hear of a guard actually getting caught with like cannabis and stuff, but you always often hear of guards getting caught with cocaine, you know, which speaks for itself, I suppose. It makes sense if you understand the how the drugs are broken down in the body, you know, with the
Hmm.
cannabis being fat soluble, cocaine being water soluble. So if you're a guard, it's a lot more preferential
And
to.
and though people like to smell cocaine, it doesn't have a smell like cannabis does. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink.
Oh no,
You
definitely
know?
not. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it doesn't have much of a smell. You got to get really up close and have a good sniff of it before you can get a good smell of the cocaine.
I,
You
I
can
prefer
smell
the coke,
weed everywhere.
prefer the coca leaf myself.
Yes, indeed.
But no,
But
man, it was an amazing thing, the whole case itself. As I said, 6 cases still pending, but they have that one dismissed as well by him because the plant was left there like that. That was an amazing achievement, and
mm,
I don't want to like lean too much on the judge, but I do look forward to going back to the court. I believe on the 25th of November, I have to meet with a
yeah,
probate
yeah.
officer now. They have to do a report on me and the likelihood of me reoffending, which is going to be, man, I can't wait for this meeting with the probation officer, honestly.
When is
Uh,
that?
I don't know, you see, because
Okay.
I loved my interaction with her already because I got to meet this lady in the court, lovely lady, and I sat down with her next to her for a few minutes as she got my details. You know, she was going to be sending me out a letter, and while she was saying it to me, because she sat through my case as well, and I think she was a bit peed off at me because I was the very last case, and it was 10 to 6 when we were leaving the courtroom. My case took almost 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes, I believe, to be specific. But as
Wow.
I say, I sat next to this probation officer lady, and I think she was a little bit pissed off at me as such. Like, but when I was chatting to her, she told me details. She was asking me, I can't remember what she was asking me anyway, but she was on about when I would get in. And I was like, oh, the only thing I have going, oh, that's what it was. I was telling her, the only thing I've going on over the next week anyway, so I'll be free to meet you anytime. I was kind of saying,
Mhm.
I was saying I have a doctor's appointment, which happened last Thursday. She was like, don't worry, love. She goes, you won't be getting a letter at all. She goes, we're up the walls. She goes, you don't expect a letter for at least 2 weeks.
Wow.
Um,
2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
Sorry,
So that
sorry.
no, but that's another again fucking more ammunition for me and my argument against this because man, the system is fucking at its limit. You know, they're already talking about opening a new prison here in Cork in
Yeah,
order to
yeah.
relieve the capacity of the prisons.
Mm.
But like our probation services, like they're up the walls. They're
This is
services.
something which when we read out the article yesterday, it's something that we pointed out as well, because you're in court now in September 2024 for something that took place in September 2021. That's
Yeah,
three
3 years.
years of waiting in the queue. And how many more people are waiting in the queue still waiting for their turn after 3 years? It's ridiculous.
Like there was a solicitor in the court while I was in there. As I said, they made me wait the entire day, which I didn't mind doing. I was prepared to do that anyway. But in doing that, like man, I was ears open, listening all day long to all the cases. And there was one case where a solicitor he was challenging the fact that it took almost over a year and a half from when a guy got caught with I think it was €12,000 worth of cocaine. I think it was 12,000 or 1,200. I think it was €12,000 worth of cocaine he got caught with anyway. And it took a year and a half from when he got caught with it till when the case was starting to begin to be processed. And it was 3 years when they got him into court to charge him for it by the time they got him into court.
Wow.
So the solicitor, I believe, was challenging, whether they could go ahead with the case, whether the evidence still kind of stand around the certification. Because I think the issue is that the drugs hadn't actually been sent for analysis or something along those lines.
Wow.
So the solicitor was like, hey, come here, can we really go ahead with this? It's been 3 years,
It's
a
been
year and a
3 years. They're having trouble locating the evidence.
half. Yeah, no, yeah, that's it. And the guard then who was actually overseeing the case, he was up in the stand and he was kind of being questioned and stuff by the solicitor, and the judge was kind of having a conversation there as well with the guard, kind of questioning him too. And the guard revealed a very interesting piece of information. He was kind of saying, "Hey, look, we're up the walls with the amount of work that's going on." And he goes, "Look, Judge, just to give you an idea as to the workload, I don't know, is it a week's work or a month's workload? But basically, to break it down, it worked out that of his workload, 90% of it was drug related. This one particular
Wow.
guard. And I don't know, was he a drug scared or what, but he was also 10% of his work. It involved burglary, assault, um, and there was something else he mentioned. There was three different types of crimes he mentioned,
Probably
and that made
money laundering or embezzlement or something.
yeah, something like that, maybe. I don't know, fraud, maybe.
Hmm.
But that made up 10% of his work. 90% was drugs. And then of that 90%, there was about 60 to 70% of it was personal possession cases. I was sitting in the court and I actually left out a laugh. I couldn't help it. I just laughed. Like I almost wanted to draw attention to myself because I was just like, this is ridiculous. This is why I'm here. Like I'm highlighting the fact that like look how much time is wasted. Like he should be focusing more on that 10% on that 90 fucking percent.
Yeah,
Like, but
absolutely.
unfortunately, it's that 90% that ties up so much of their bloody time. Like I was sitting on that court and I would at least 50% of the cases were drug related. And each one of those required the guard who caught the person with the drugs to be there in the court. It required that guard to catch him that evening or that morning, night, day, whatever, with the drugs. It took that guard off the road, off patrol, whatever. That guard was no longer out there ensuring that your
Mm.
mother, son, daughter, whatever, was actually safe while they were dealing with that case. And that's what I was trying to highlight, and I believe the judge was sympathetic towards me that day anyway. And I hope when I'm back on the 30th of September now, 7 days time.
Oh
Um,
wow, shit, that soon.
yeah, that's for another load of charges. Again, relating to these protests. Videos are up online on the Martin's World page, where I went into the Garda station with the cannabis
Hmm.
itself in dry flower form. One particular one, Valentine's Day video, that's up in the thing as well. People might get a laugh out of that one. On Valentine's Day, I went into the Garda station with 10 wraps of cannabis flower. It was basically a gram of CBD flower broken up into zero point 0.1 of a gram in each one. But it didn't matter. Like I separated it into individual wraps, and the point being, not like one that it was cannabis, CBD cannabis, but the law doesn't care about that. They'll still criminalize you, treat you as a criminal that it is cannabis, regardless of whether it has high THC or low THC. So that was one point I was making in that protest. But another one, then the fact that the sale and supply side of it, when I went in there, I wanted them to charge me with sale and supply for such a small amount, like
Mm-mm.
$20 worth a gram of cannabis. It would have been hilarious. So I was really emphasizing to the guard when I was handing it to her. I was like, "There's 10 of them there now." I was like, "Make sure you bring them back into the back and share them. Make sure now that you supply them out to your friends." I was saying that to her, like. Unfortunately, they never actually charged me for supply on that particular one. At least I didn't see it there. They sent me out to Gary Doyle order, which is fairly funny. A Gary Doyle order, if people don't know, it's basically the book of evidence, all of the evidence that's going to be used against you in your case.
Right.
Because I'm representing myself now next week in that particular case. I don't have a solicitor. I got sent all of the evidence they have against me, and that's hilarious in itself to read because I got to read all of the statements of the guards about how they actually came about my case when, say they got phoned in, they got radioed. One of them is they actually got emailed when I planted a plant in the city hall. They got emailed by the gardener the next morning because the gardener found the cannabis plant in the garden bed, and they emailed the guards to kind of say, "Hey, we found a plant here in the garden bed that we didn't put there."
Honestly, it wasn't me.
And we believe it's cannabis, because the girl had to put her into her statement, about the email, and it's just so fucking funny, man, to be reading all of this stuff like about what went on, about one of the guards, they were out on patrol, and that was another important thing to emphasize. These guards were out on patrol, and they got radioed that hey, there was a live up on YouTube where somebody planted a cannabis plant up outside of the Garda station, and up outside the Garda station in Mayfield, and they had to radio a guard from another Garda station in Glanmire because of how busy the Mayfield Garda station was. They had to actually get onto
Wow.
another Garda station a couple of kilometers away, for their guards to go up. So it wasn't bad enough like that Mayfield Garda station was busy, but now they had to take guards away from Glanmire up the Mayfield, like that's already busy. Now the guys in Glanmire are down a couple of guards. because of a tiny, tiny little cannabis plant that I had planted that evening outside of the guard station, you know? Like
Wow.
how petty a problem it is. Could they not have just waited until, there's a couple of guards back in the guard station there at Mayfield and let them, literally it would have took them 30 seconds to walk from the door outside of their little driveway and the cannabis plant was there for them. But instead,
So
no,
many
like,
resources wasted on this shit in so many countries around the world. It's absolutely
it's
ridiculous.
in. So that's a part of why I do what I've been doing, I just want to highlight that, and hopefully that it will help speed up the change that I do believe it's near here, like in Ireland.
Well, you had that. What happened with the Citizens' Assembly? You were part of that, right?
I wasn't a part of the Citizens Assembly, no, unfortunately not. But I did watch the entire thing and paid very close attention to it. And unfortunately, it wasn't what we hoped it would be. But
They
still,
worded it funny, didn't they? Was it something like that? That
yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah.
They played it a little bit towards the end. There was a couple of issues I had with it, and another big issue I would have had with it is the fact that the guards' contribution to it is it was a top-down contribution. It wasn't a bottom-up contribution. In that, like the guards' contribution, it wasn't actually from the guards. It was more or less just from the government. It was from the fucking your man Drew Harris, the MI5 guy that they put in as the Garda commissioner here now. That guy, he basically gave his opinion, and it was just their reefer madness, their prohibition position. But I would have loved if they genuinely actually went out and surveyed the guards, the actual guards out there on patrol, those guards who are drawn away from important things, because just an example of one of the things they get drawn away from when they're dealing with me. I was in
Mm.
Middleton Garda Station one evening, and sorry, man, I'm going on and on and on here.
No,
I
no,
feel.
this is what you're here for, mate. Please carry on.
But I was in Middleton Garda Station another evening because on the November 20th, I believe, when I was reenacting a protest that was held by now MEP Luke Ming Flanagan, when he sent joints out in the post to every politician and to a couple of journalists and stuff. Well, I done the same. I got sponsored with some cannabis trim, and I rolled up a load of joints, got a load of envelopes, load of stamps, and I posted out a load of joints in the post to reenact his protest, and only one out of, I think it was 100 joints I done, or maybe more, but only one actually ever came back and caused like an issue as such, if you will. And that was TD David Stanton. His secretary received the joint, and he called the guards in Middleton. The guards had to come from Middleton to come down to the office of David Stanton. They had to take a statement from the secretary, about the envelope and all of this. And I put inside in the envelope, as I said, one cannabis joint that contained a little bit of trim or some CBD flower. And I also included in everyone just for the crack and just because they were there, and the kids didn't really, they had enough of them, actually, to be fair. There was a couple of bags of them there, but they were like little refresher sweets, little soft, squishy things, like that's what they were. But I put them in every envelope as well, so that when I knew it's if any of them went to go through the guards and stuff, they'd all have to go to be tested. That they'd have to send the squishy jelly and the joint off to the Forensic Science Ireland to
Oh
be
my.
tested. Again, it's just a waste of resources. If they were so willing to waste them by keeping prohibition in place, well, sorry, look,
Wow.
I'm going to play the system, look to my advantage and just highlight how much of a waste there is. And again, I did highlight through that one particular case the waste, because they did send the jelly off for testing. I found out that afterwards because that guard brought me down. He emailed me one evening, the guard actually in charge of this case. That's how he got in touch with me. He emailed my Martin's World email, which I thought was so funny, seeing at garda.e appearing inside my inbox. I was like, what's going on here? Clicking into this. Like, hi, Martin, Garda James, whatever, from Middleton Garda Station. Can you give me a call there sometime? I just want to have a chat to you there about a cannabis joint that was sent to TD David Stanton down here, and he included his phone number. And
Wow.
fairness, man, he was sound out. This guard rang him, had a chat with him, agreed, look, I'll come down and meet you there. And he was like, look, actually, I'm on holidays there next week. He was, do you mind coming down in 2 weeks' time? I was like, not a bother. But I was like, enjoy the holidays, have a good time. He was going to Spain. I was like, I'm sure you check out the cannabis clubs.
Yeah, and he might have. You know?
I did, yeah, I don't know, but I said I wouldn't ask anyone when I met him. They won't put him in the spotlight, you know. But
Hmm.
I had a grand old conversation when I did meet him. In fairness, I went down. He kind of had to. He said, "Look, I have to formally arrest you." He goes, "By right, I have to put you into the cell." He goes, "But look, it's in the it was about eight in the evening, I think it was that particular evening. I was after being out working that day. He was on late shift, so I agreed to come down to meet him that evening. Um, but what he said, he goes, look, I'm not going to do any of that. He goes, you can come out to the office there. He goes, sit down on the chair there. He goes, I'm just going to go onto the computer there. I have to type up this stuff there. Um, and it won't take too long. So he let me sit in the office with himself and about five other guards. And while I was sitting there in the office, then two drug squad guards came in. I was sitting there with about seven guards, and while the drug squad guards came in, I was kind of chatting away with the other guards, just kind of casually, not really talking about anything as such. They were kind of saying, like, Jesus, Matt, it's fair brave if you have to do what you're doing. And they were kind of chatting just a little bit about that. But it was when the drug squad guards came in, I really brought it up then with them, about the whole prohibition, about, Jesus, lads, like, what a waste of airtime it is to be doing this. Like, would you not, like, rather be on like a different type of squad. I was out there investigating, women have been fucking, sexually assaulted and things like that.
Hmm.
And it was while I was chatting to them, a call came in about a welfare check on an elderly man living locally in the area. And I, rather than say it to the drug squad guards, I actually said it to your man who was dealing with me, because I could see it. I could see it in him, because he was young enough as well. But I said to him, I goes, I bet you would love to be able to jump into the car now and go out and answer that welfare check to make sure that elderly fella is okay. And I goes, and I can guarantee you, I goes, that's probably much closer to the reason you joined the guards
Hmm.
than dealing with me here doing what you're doing right now. And he goes, Martin, he goes, you're dead right. He goes, you're spot on.
It's
He like
ridiculous, isn't it,
didn't
mate?
challenge it. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, and I imagine there's many guards out there who probably would be like that. They didn't join, to be fucking pulling the pants off of young fellas and seeing if they have a little bit of cannabis there in their back pocket or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I believe I have to believe that they are good people and that they did join for the right reasons.
I would think
Because
so. I mean, not all of them, 90% of them for sure. They've got to
yeah,
be there to try and make society and their communities better.
but that's the
Surely.
thing. That's the thing. At the end of it, we do need them. And I
Absolutely. Yeah.
can't hate them. Because I did for a while. Initially, when I was 17, 18, like 19, 20, 21, man, for a while I did hate them. Like, I did have a bit of a hatred there for the guards, because, man, they were
Hmm.
harassing me. When they would stop and search me, I wasn't probably the most politest. I was a bit like pissed off with them as such. Like, I wasn't holding myself back. I was like, what are you doing this for? You shouldn't be doing this,
Yeah.
and probably wasn't the best approach to be taken, and even when you would see him around the place, then, it'd be with the boys, and you're like, ah, fucking pigs, and all of that stuff. Like,
It's
whereas,
like being pissed off at the chick at McDonald's. Excuse me, because the milkshake machine's broken. So it's like it's not their fault that the milkshake machine is broken, but it is fucking annoying. But you got to really try hard not to take it out on the individual. And when they're wearing the uniform, you can really look at them and be like, "Yeah, it's your fucking fault. You're a police officer. This is your fault." And it's not, man.
yeah,
I'm sure they could do something. They could turn a blind eye. There's a few dickhead police officers who do want to make an example out of you. But the problem here is the government. That's where we need to direct the fucking the energy and the anger towards. We need to direct it towards them, because they are the guys who are going to change things. And then the police officers can go and do what they're supposed to do. You know?
yeah, we can only hope anyway. Hopefully in time, they will see sense. We've an election coming up here in the not too distant future. That's like a good and a bad thing. It's a bad thing because I do believe we've put so much work into the current lot that, if we were to get a little bit longer with them, not that I want them to be re-elected, but if that election wasn't so bloody close,
Hmm.
that I do believe we could get change maybe sooner than what we are going to get with an election to happen. Um, when that election happens here, fucking who knows? A lot of people are saying there's a potential for an election to happen just after the budget. We've a budget due in the end of October. Some people are saying there could be a winter election here, maybe
Hmm.
November they could call something for the end of November, December. And that bit the government are going to try to buy the electorate through the budget. That it's going to be a bit of
Right.
a
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah.
But who knows? But as I said, the main thing I'm focused on is ending this silly fucking prohibition around drugs, and I just see the fact that having an election, it's just going to take away from what's actually going on. The ball is rolling at the moment.
Hmm.
But on the other side, look, it gives an opportunity for people like me to run in the election and to put that issue out there at the
That's
front
right. So if
as
they
an
did call an election towards the end of the year, would you run again?
Oh, that's what I was hinting at there, pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be the only good thing about that I can see in out of an election is that people like me will get the opportunity to stand up and run. I'm not running to be elected. I'm literally running more or less why I was doing the civil disobedience protests is just to get the
Hmm.
issue out there, bring attention to it, have people talk about it. Look, I can end up making a bit of a clown of myself, which I do feel like I've done it at times.
Why do you
But
feel like that? In what circumstances?
just running in the election, like I've ran twice now, like, and I don't know, I don't know, I just feel like it's that guy is the drug guy, is the cannabis guy, I just do feel a little
And
bit
some
of
people
that.
are definitely going to look at it
stigma
like that, but
feel-
there's going to be people out there who think, there's the guy who's fighting for us, the cannabis user, the guys who need it for medical cannabis. They understand why you're doing it, and they're the important ones. Fuck the ignorant ones. They ain't got a clue what's going on anyway.
Yeah, I know you're dead right, Mackie. No, you're dead right. It's stigma. That's pretty much what I kind of felt that.
Mm.
But yeah, no, we should never give in to the stigma. But again, I'm just highlighting again that the fact that look, there's nothing special about me. I do have these feelings, just I do face
Yeah,
the
you just
stigma.
got imposter
I do face
syndrome,
it
bro.
there.
We'll be the
No,
judge of
well,
that, you
well,
know.
I'm just saying that I do overcome these things. It wasn't such an easy thing for me to go
Mm.
out there and plant those cannabis plants. It wasn't such an easy thing for me to walk in with the cannabis to those Garda stations. I did have to overcome fear. I did have to overcome stigma and what was to come afterwards. But I did it, and anyone can do it. That's what I'm saying. I did face it. I
Yeah.
overcame it. All of us can do it. Don't be held back by fear. Don't be held back by the stigma because that's what they want. That's why it's there, and that's
Hmm.
why that's why we're fucking still in the position that we're in. It's why we're so held back is because look, unfortunately, they have been successful with their fear and the stigma they've created through the prohibition. That did keep us down.
Yeah, man. And they'll continue to do so. Like you say, if 90% of the cases out there are drug related, just think if they did legalize or at least decriminalize
Mm.
drugs, look how many jobs will be lost out of the police force, out of the courts. Maybe that's a reason why they keep it on because they will lose those jobs.
There's
And
certainly
no government wants that because the government always wants to seem as if, oh, we're law and order friendly. We don't want to do anything to the police force. And then if they legalize and there's at least a 50% reduction in jobs available in the police force.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But I can see like there's certainly vested interests there as such. You could make arguments for it, but I don't see jobs being lost. I do believe our police forces, our guards. I do believe there's going to be plenty of other work there for them to be focusing on. I do believe our communities need to be patrolled, man. If you just looking at Cork, like, because that's where I'm familiar with, over the last number of months, especially through the summer months, like I've seen article after article after article where carjacking, burglary,
Hmm.
home invasion, so many crimes committed around the place, so easily, and nobody actually being caught. Why is nobody being caught? Because there's no guard patrols. Why is there no patrols? Because
Because
they're
they're
so
all
busy
in
dealing
court.
with people like us because
Mm.
they're doing that. So I would be much happier actually to see more guards out there patrolling and for them to actually be dealing with less cases because that means actually society's better. Is it
Yeah,
not?
yeah,
Does it not
absolutely.
mean better? Society's better. Like let's keep the same number of judges and let's see like even if our courts are less busy, is that not a good thing? Is that not a reflection of a better society? But I don't think that they will be as less busy. I do think that there will be sufficient other crimes out there being committed for our guards to focus on, and I do believe we need them to be focusing on that, and that's what I'm saying all the time. Burglaries, thefts, fucking sexual assaults and shit like that, man.
Hmm.
It's
Like real crime with victims.
real victims, man. We
Yeah.
need them. And we need a visible, active community policing by our guards, and we need our guards to be more. That's another important thing, man. We need our guards to be respected by our
Hmm.
communities too, and that's a massive thing that will happen if we take away this program,
Absolutely.
because at the moment there's a massive wedge between our guards and the communities that they're policing, and
Hmm.
that's taken away from the effectiveness then of that police and of that community. Then
Yeah, man. I've said it many times, mate. You know, I think you're completely right. The people do not trust police officers nowadays, and a huge reason for it is because of the war on drugs. When you see police officers coming out and causing shit on people who are just trying to have a nice night and consume some cannabis, causing no bother to anybody, just relaxing, but the police want to come and kick their door off and cause shit. It's like people lose trust. It's like you don't trust people doing that shit, you know?
there was actually a time when there was a bit of a kind of a bit of drama here in Ireland. I probably shouldn't even be bringing it up, but there was on Instagram. There was an article that went out I took part in, and a journalist got in touch with me and I gave a bit of information about an underground event that happened here. And I believe,
Hmm.
I thought I was able to speak about it because I had permission to go live at the event. So I thought I was able to speak about it because I was contacted about that particular live video, and about the event that I was at and what was going on there. So I talked about the event because I believed it was in the interest of cannabis legalization and what have you in Ireland. And next online, I'm getting called a Garda rat.
Yeah, yeah. I remember.
Because
It's
I
bad
talked,
shit when that all happened, man.
yeah, because I talked to the journalist, like, but I'm a Garda rat. But that's what got into my mind there, just that whole mentality, that people are Garda
Mm-hmm.
rats, and that person needs a baiting then, because that's what goes with that stuff within these communities, like, is that the drug users will police the communities themselves. The drug dealers will police the communities themselves. And who are they going to be focusing on? The Garda rats.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Mm-hmm.
need rats in our community. And what do we do with rats? It's we don't need that shit in our community, man. It's like,
Yeah.
we really don't. You want people to talk to the fucking guards, because you want them to be talking to them about real crimes, as I said.
Exactly. You shouldn't be scared because you smell a little bit funky. You should be able to go and speak to the police officers. And man, it's such a damn shame. I've seen police officers before doing their shit, and I just, because I watch some videos sometimes. There's a couple of police officers on YouTube. They have channels. They explain their story. And being a police officer is really shit. And you see, you have to remember these people who are arresting people for possession of cannabis. The same people have to go out there and go and tell loved ones that their family member will not be coming home. Imagine having to deal with the PTSD like that. This is what the police officers deal with. If there's fucking car crash, they have to get there. They're seeing people in states you should never see people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they have to live with this shit. That's in there. And I just want to say to him, thank you for everything that you do.
yeah,
But
that's respectful,
I
like,
stay the fuck away from them because I might smell a little bit funky. So it's bad, but it's done this to the police officers because they do deserve respect as well. But we are also allowed to be angry and feel as if we are being treated unjustified by these people because of the bullshit that they put us through. They need to stand up as well. It's their part too. It's like the doctors with the medical thing. It's like they got to stand up as well, man. We all have to work together to tell these people who make the laws to do something because we are all suffering detrimentally from these archaic laws that make no sense to ordinary people. And when that changes, so much will change. I don't even think we're prepared for how much it will change. Not instantly, 10, 15, maybe 20 years. And, a generation or so of it not being illegal. Completely fucking different civilization we'll be living in. Or maybe a completely different society. I want to say civilization. That's a bit too strong. But maybe the possibility is there. I would rather see that chance be taken than this bullshit war on drugs carry on being dragged through the mud for 50 fucking years. It's ridiculous. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, your turn, Martin.
I want to just jump back to something you were saying there earlier, about not wanting to get too close to the cops because of a smell off you and stuff like. But bit of a funny one for you. We'd a family event here in the city in Cork recently, but it wasn't an ordinary family event. It was an emergency services family event. So it was the emergency services showcasing, their tools, their wares, and just talking about what they do and what have you. So it was really cool, man. My kids loved it. So my small fella Elijah, like he has an absolute fascination with trucks, loves fire trucks, loves ambulance, and loves police cars. So this now was, man, his mind was absolutely blown down there. So we were down there doing the walk around and stuff, but unexpectedly, I knew it was going to be emergency services and stuff. Like, and I was like, yeah, grand. I had 3 joints inside in this thing. Like in this is a raw tube container.
Yeah, man. I have one of those as well. Well, I don't. The missus does.
Good actually, man. Really good a
That would
container.
last me a week, bro.
And I'll tell you why this is really good at containing the smell, right? And not the first reason, because I was able to walk around the guards, have a quick chat with the guards, was holding Elijah, like get Elijah go over and have a chat with the guards, and I'll have to get a few pictures. And no, they didn't smell a single thing off me at all. But then we were walking around, and I spotted that the customs were there with their dogs, and I was standing away from them at this point, like, and I was saying it to the missus. I was like, oh, look over there, the customs are there with their dogs. I was like, I'll have to go over and say hello. And she was like, no, Martin, stay away, the dog will start going at you. So I was winding her up then. I was like, ah, no, I'll be grand. And she goes, what you mean you'll be grand? I go, sir, the weed is in your bag, I was saying. Because she was pushing the buggy and her bag was hanging off the back of it with her small one, Avery. So she was like, Martin, I'll fucking kill
Man, I
you.
would have loved to see the look on her face when you said that to her. She's like,
I was
what?
like, she was like, I won't kill you. I told her really quick because she probably would have killed me really quickly after that.
Oh,
Like,
shit,
but I was like,
funny.
no, no, don't worry. I was like, it's in my pocket. So we walked over to the customs because I was like, I have to test the quality of this thing. I was like, let's see if the dog actually indicates on me, like, if he was to give a little indication, and what would they do? It's a family event. Would they actually cause a bit of hassle over fucking, I think I had three blunts inside in this really strong smelly stuff as well, lovely dubs. Um but I was like, would they really cause a problem? I was like, fuck it, let's see. So I went over and was chatting with the customs one, kind of was about 4 or 5 feet away from her. Like, I was talking to her. She was telling us about the dogs. This dog was actually, yeah, he's a drug dog. Actually, couldn't remember the name of the dog now, but it's been in the paper a couple of times because I said it to her. It's like, has he been involved, or has she been involved in any large bus? She was like, oh yeah, this dog has been involved in a good few large busts now. Has been in the paper a couple of times and stuff like that. And I was like, oh geez, yeah, yeah. And the other one that they had there was only a puppy. She was in training. So I was like, oh yeah, but while we were chatting to your one, the dog got very interested in the buggy, Karina's buggy.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, yeah, it was like sniffing all around the buggy and stuff. Like, and I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I was like, oh Karina, the dog thinks that you might have a bomb under your buggy, joking. It's like I was like, I'm not going to report the drugs at all. I was like, fuck that, like, yeah. And Joanne, then the customs officer, she was like, "Oh yeah, the dog now thinks that it's working, so it's just searching now. It's just sniffing to see if it gets any sense in the air, for it to indicate. And if it finds any sense, it'll just sit down and it'll be wagging its tail and stuff. It has a few different ways it'll indicate for different things." I was like, "All right, very interesting." Like, so that was fine, and I was saying to the officer, then I was like, "Is it okay if Elijah gets next to you there to get a picture with the dog?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, no problem at all." So she kind of got the dog back, and I helped Elijah over right next to the dog. I mean, no, I couldn't have been more than a foot away, and the joint was in my left pocket. The dog was on my left side. I
Wow.
I couldn't have got any close. Really, no, just pushing the boundaries, like. But no, man, the dog never indicated at all. It was so fucking funny, man. Oh, so funny.
Damn, funny. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
funny.
but
And you, and
I
you try
I
and say that you ain't got massive bollocks. Anybody tell me that they would do that?
I don't know. Can you see this now? It's not coming up there now at all. Fucking shit. Can I turn? I don't know. Can I turn off a green screen here?
There we go. You got the chair. That should be enough for
Oh,
the lack of green screen.
boom.
You say
There we
something
go.
so you can come on the screen, so because you gotta.
Yeah, can you see Elijah up there now with the customs dog next to him and the customs officer? But
Yes, man.
I would have been the one taking that photo, like, so. And again, three blunts in my pocket, like no more than a couple of foot away from the dog. Like, we were there for a good 2 3 minutes chatting with that
You know,
customs officer.
it's like that dog is looking at the pup, being like, "I know you can smell something, but don't cause a scene."
Yeah. So yeah, that was a good one. That was a fun day out now, in fairness, having a good chats out with introducing the small fella to all the different emergency services, because I suppose while we're tipping our hat to the guards, like all of those other guys, like they're doing some incredible stuff, man.
Mhm.
Those fire firemen and women, the ambulance staff, like the paramedics, incredible
Uh-huh.
work, man.
Yeah,
Fair play to 'em.
absolutely. And that needs to be recognised as along with the bad stuff that happens, which is mainly just the police officers. But man,
Yeah.
it's got to be a shit job. Got to be a shit job. I just We need to direct our attention towards the the establishment, the government itself, the guys who make the laws, rather than those who are enforcing it just so they can buy their kids shoes and keep food on the table. You know,
Mm-hmm.
madness, man.
100% Matthew. It's insane because I suppose you say that like um I'm a father, like if they're to arrest me and take me out of the family, like that they're not only like punishing me, but they're punishing my entire family. Like they're taking
Hmm.
out of the home a provider of that fucking food. Like how would they like that in their own home? Like should that befall
Yeah.
them? It wouldn't very much like that at
And
all.
there were people out there because you see it as well. You know, yeah, I hope I'm not offending anybody, but these ignorant people who would be like, "Well, you shouldn't be doing it then because it's illegal," and it's like that's beside the point. You shouldn't be doing it. It's illegal. You're taking up God's time and court time when there's a big queue. You shouldn't be doing this shit. What do you say to people like that, man? I mean, I know what I would say, but I'd rather you say all the naughty words than me.
So many people are there's so many things that have been illegal in the past. I would
Hmm.
always refer to condoms. Condoms were once illegal, but now we look at condoms. Like, would you still see a law as being so moral when you think of the fact that somebody could have been treated as a criminal for using something as protective as a condom? Like,
Hmm.
condoms are harm reduction. They don't promote sex; they promote safe sex.
Hmm.
That's the thing, and much like fucking having cannabis legally for sale through a store, it doesn't promote cannabis use. It promotes safe cannabis use.
Nice.
You know,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good way to put it, man, for sure. Because
yeah,
in Ireland, condoms did used to be illegal. Well, all
it did,
birth control did, innit? Yeah.
and it was for moralistic reasons. The church pretty much fucking controlled how the country was run, and unfortunately, we kind of still live in a society that unfortunately we have laws put in place by people driven by morals. Would you say morals, or would you say fucking a desire for power to control and maybe a bit of both?
I don't know, man. I do like to think that they were just trying to do things for people's best interests, but they were just confused or something, led down the wrong path. I don't think they've really gone out their way intentionally to make things more difficult to people. I don't think that's the case. It's just ignorance and just tradition, mainly. I
Yeah,
don't like
I
to
don't know,
blame on
man.
malice what can be blamed on
Wh-
stupidity.
When you look at the origins of these laws, like where the source where they come from, like America, man, when you look at how those laws were applied over there, like you would definitely it'd be hard to argue with the fact that like the laws have been more heavily applied to people who are of dark skin color, black people.
Mm-hmm.
The prisons. When you look at prisons, they've got much higher prison populations of people from the black communities, from the Mexican communities. Um, and you look at the time when the laws were actually put in place over there, like so. Again, these laws, I suppose, if you look at the origins of them, they do have fucking these racist roots,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
and it didn't really move away from that. It might have moved away a little bit from the racism as such. Like it wasn't specifically racism, it's classism. That's where
Yeah.
it went to next. That's where it is currently today, really. And I seen that again, to go back to the court, in the
Mm-hmm.
court the other day. 90%, 95% of the people there for the drugs charges were of a certain class,
Really.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Like, there were people from working class, like there was nobody from the upper class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People from working class, are people who might have been of working class but just couldn't find work at the moment because
Mm-hmm.
of the state of the bloody economy here.
It's crazy, man. So much goes into it. Is we need to just see these laws change. What do you think? Because you said there's an election coming up. Do you think any of the say if the power does change from the party it is now to whoever it might be after the election? Do you think there's any
Yeah,
change? Any going to be any chance of changes to the law?
yeah. There's definitely a good chance. We not only have an election, but more recently, sorry, there was the Oireachtas committee were meeting discussing Ireland's drug policy, and that's to draw to a conclusion now. I believe Thursday this week, the 27th this week, I believe. So it's going to draw to a conclusion. And just earlier, or last week, Gino Kenny, who you might be familiar with, the guy
Hmm.
who's really pro cannabis and has been pushing stuff around cannabis, medical cannabis, and all that for years. He's after being appointed now as the chair of that committee. So that's a positive thing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a positive thing. And also, I suppose the committee has been having very, very good discussions over the last couple of months. So we're really hoping that the committee has a really positive conclusion in regards to positive words change.
Mm.
And also then as well, the fact that Gino Kenny, he put forward a bill to legalize cannabis, to regulate cannabis back 9 months ago. That now is actually that then was put on a 9 month stay. And as I said, he put it forward 9 months ago. So it's due now to come out of the stay. So the government have to relook at that. So his bill to actually legalize cannabis in Ireland has to be re-examined now over the next week or two also. So very exciting times here in Ireland. A lot could happen over the next while. Who knows? Fingers crossed. I'm always optimistic. I'm always hopeful. I'm always pushing for positive change. I'm never going to give up. So we do have a lot to hope for here.
Yeah, man. And what's next for you then? You have the court case coming up on the 25th of November. You got anything planned in between then and now, and what's going on after then as well?
Well, I returned for the court case where the case was dismissed and the probation on the 20 whatever of November. But more sooner than that, I have the other case on the 30th of September also, for which is just next week, for the possession charges. So
Right.
separate. So I got brought in for all the cultivation charges last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. Sorry. And now I'm getting brought in for the possession one. So part of the same civil disobedience protests. It was a year-long protest that I held that time. It was one protest every month for an entire year. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, it was just kind of sporadically I would hold civil disobedience protests just when I might get pissed off enough or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to get out there and just kind of add to the videos while doing a protest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they were more sporadic afterwards, but I did commit to myself. It was like a New Year's resolution I had made at the beginning of 2021, that I was going to hold a protest once a month, every month, for the entire year. Um, and I did that. I stayed true to my resolution. It's probably been the only resolution I've ever actually fucking seen through to the end, to be fair.
You're some kind of sadomasochist, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when I think about it, like, yeah.
But, so, man, I had a fucking question. Where's it gone? Where's that question gone? Yeah, you're gonna start streaming again soon?
I'm hoping to, yeah, I'm
No
hoping to get.
pressure, of course. Don't want to pressure you into it. Just
Oh no,
wondering, you know.
definitely no, no. I've more or less loads of pressure on myself. I'm dying to get back to it. I've really wanting to get back to it. I'm hoping there now to be able to just free up a little bit more time. Even if I have to maybe change things up a bit. I know 420. I was very attached to doing the 420 news at 420.
Hmm.
But I suppose as the saying goes, it's always 420 somewhere. So we might go live. We might have to move it to going live at a 20 past the hour at a different hour for the Irish folks, but it being 420 somewhere else anyway will be
Do it
still
at
bring.
7:10, man. It's later and that's oil, you know.
Yeah, well, there is 710, but then I'm gonna have to start fucking. I'll have to get myself a rig. Been looking for a rig for a long time, actually.
Yeah. I think people would rather see you doing streams at any time rather than not at all just because it can't be at 4:20. But
Yeah.
again, no pressure. I don't want to pressure you into anything. But
No, no, not at all. As I say, like I've always been just always egging to myself to go. Like I just dying to get it back at it.
hmm
Um, it's just fucking just being able to find the time, being able to commit to it, having like the family with the four kids,
hmm
two smallies, two and one. Um, it's yeah challenging at times
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
able to find that time, just especially when I'm I suppose playing such an active role within the house as well at the moment.
hmm
There's a lot going on there at the home, which just at the moment without going into any details there, it definitely requires me to be play much more of an active role as a dad.
Yeah, 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 man. And you do a good job of it as well.
I like to
Yeah.
think that I do anyway.
We can only just do our best, can't we? That's all you can do.
Well,
Yeah,
that's it, man.
there's no
Yeah,
such thing as a perfect parent and all that. We all have our problems from the things that happened to us when we were kids. You know, we all suffer with certain trauma and learn certain lessons. We just do the
yeah.
best we can at the time that we can do it, and just
Something I
always
say
aim for improvement. You know.
is yeah, oh yeah, definitely. There's something I say is that like I love being a parent, but I hate parenting. Like,
Right.
you might know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean. That I
yeah,
love being
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
love- earlier today now, man, I was holding my 1 year old in my arms. She was wrecked. She came over to me, climbed up into my arms with her blanket and stuff. I was listening to some music. I was cleaning up around the kitchen. Um, but I just kind of danced away with her to the music. I think it was some Eric Clapton actually that was on, and we were just dancing and singing. Next, she fell asleep in my arms. She was absolutely exhausted, like. So that's why I love being a parent. But
Mm.
then, the 11-year-old, and she's like pushing the buttons and challenging the boundaries a little bit, and you kind of have to put the foot down and do the parenting. I hate
Yeah,
that part
yeah,
because
yeah.
like then
Hmm.
there's a bit of, Dad, I don't like you, Dad. Why do I have to go to bed so early? Just as an example,
Yeah, yeah. Has to be done though. You know how it is. You're doing the right thing, man.
Why
You
can't I
know.
have a glass of Coke for breakfast? Silly things like that, like.
Hmm. Hmm. But it
Uh,
all work out in the end. I saw a quote not long ago where it was, if you spoil your kids, you'll raise your grandkids. But if you raise your kids, you can spoil your grandkids. So just bear that in mind. It's our job, it's our responsibility, it's our duty to raise
mhm.
our kids to be good members of society when they're adults, so they can function properly in it. And that you just
100%.
got to try and aim for that. If you just aim for that and do a decent job of that, then you did a good fucking job of it.
Yeah, always aiming for that, man. Always teaching the
Hmm.
kids the importance of that, of being active members, playing a positive role in society, and you know, just wearing a smile, being able to spread that around there. You're going around just happy out, and somebody else sees that smile, and who knows, that smile
Hmm.
might spread. So
Yeah.
that small one thing, being that positive member of society,
Yeah,
you
man.
just don't know how you might change someone's day.
And cannabis helps with that to some extent as well. Because I think, for me at least, and I think for many people as well, but I won't put words in people's mouths. But when you're a little bit high, you can empathize with people easier. And
Um,
especially your kids. You can understand their position a little bit more when they're kids. And when you have just a little smoke. And I don't know. It's the high ladies, when we've had the high ladies on the show, they mentioned Lego weed. Like they got a particular weed they like to smoke before they go play Lego with their kids because it makes them more creative and involved in the playing with the Lego. And there's that shit, man.
Oh man, that's so funny. I was actually chatting to one of the lads the other day about Minecraft. Man,
Mm-mm.
that's like, stay away. If you're smoking some weed and your kid asks you to get some Minecraft, it's like, stay away. Because your kid will be getting back up the next morning and asking you, why are you still playing Minecraft?
Yeah, yeah, I love Minecraft. I do. I love it, man. Uh,
Oh, I've lost so many hours on that game
oh
because of
yeah,
the
oh yeah.
Ah.
But that's it. Anybody who smoke, because the problem with games, I find the problem with a majority of games anyway, is they're adrenaline inducing. You have to run around shooting. You have to avoid things. You got to be switched on. Minecraft, right? Put it on peaceful so there's no creepers and fucking creepers. You know what I'm saying, Martin?
Yeah, I do.
And you put it on peaceful,
Good
and you
chat.
can just chill for hours and just strip mine, find some diamonds. Sometimes build a nice little house, build a castle. Man,
Yeah,
Minecraft is a lovely game. Try it out, everybody. You will enjoy it.
yeah, definitely. But it's the dopamine what you're getting. Then it's not even adrenaline at that point. You're
Mm,
triggering the dopamine rewards. You're
yes.
you're harvesting
Oh, I
stuff
found
and
a stronghold. I found a stronghold.
yes, yes. And it's just never ending then as well. Like, there's
Mm,
no clearing it. There's no winning the game. It's just
yep.
never ending.
That's right, man. Right, so that's enough from our sponsor,
Yeah.
Mojang, creators of Minecraft. But definitely play it, man. Minecraft is a great game. I do enjoy it. But for me right now, I'm playing Roblox a lot with my boy. He's been making games on Roblox and shit, so we've been playing a lot of Roblox. But I like to encourage him to play board games, classic games that don't take electricity. So we play chess and we play backgammon as well. I'd love
Ah,
to play
nice.
some backgammon. The little bastard's so lucky and he's so good. He can beat me quite often at backgammon now.
Class.
Tragic, man. Tragic.
We picked up Jenga right now the other day, so that should be
Nice.
fun. Yeah.
Oh, it's good fun, man. Good
Yeah.
fun. This is the good thing about parenting, isn't it? When you can
How,
play these games.
how old is your young fella, did you say?
10.
10. Ah, yeah. Well, if
Yeah.
he's still into the Minecraft and stuff, and if you're bored into the zombies, or if you want to introduce him to zombies, there was a game I found there. Somebody was telling me about it. 7 days of
Oh,
dead,
seven
or
days to die. Yeah, yeah.
7 days to die.
I'm
Yeah,
aware
it's
of it.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, there you go. It's like Minecraft, but just with zombies, pretty much. That's what I was told.
Hmm.
I checked it out, and I was just like, shit, this is dangerous.
Yeah, those games can get addictive. I tried it, man. It was okay. I think it was a bit too much for me. I just don't have much time for games now, which is a shame. So when I
Yeah.
do play games, I just put on like Call of Duty, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, and kill some zombies there for a bit. But most of the time, it would just be playing Roblox with the boy. Yeah,
Oh man,
man.
I was more for those zombies with the Call of Duty, Call of Duty, and you could
Mm-mm.
just have endless hours of just zombies, just getting to the high rounds, and you're
Yeah.
just
Round
and you
50,
follow it,
4 hours
and
later.
dopamine, then
Fuck.
like anyway.
Damn. Yeah, let
Yes,
us know what your
yes.
favorite games are in the chat there, everybody.
Yeah, sorry, we're gone way off topic there
You
now,
know,
but
what's with the
I
tangents?
like
Gosh, where's the
cannabis.
professionalism here? Sorry about that, Martin. I led you down that tangent. It's my bad. It's my bad. I should be
Hopefully,
doing
everyone
a better
enjoyed
job
the
of it. You
conversation as much as me anyway.
know. That's it, man. So, you say you're gonna maybe stream soon? Yeah, it would be good to see you back on the YouTube, but
Yeah,
no
definitely
pressure,
going.
of course.
Definitely intending to get back on live chatting with the hot boxers and stuff like that,
Mm-mm.
and hopefully maybe in time to come as well start organizing some interviews. There's a couple of ideas I'm playing with around highlighting, the suffering caused by cannabis prohibition, and doing some live on street interviews with people. So
Mm-mm.
hopefully I can make that materialize over the next couple of weeks, months, and get that up online as well. So let's
Yeah, just
see.
don't put yourself under too much pressure, innit? Just keep it enjoyable, man. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, the epilepsy at the moment, the seizures are under control. I'm not
Nice.
gonna fucking let it hold me back too much. But as you say, yeah, definitely, it's gonna just take a handy, one step at a time, and increase things as I see fit. Then as we go along.
Nice, man. You should join us on Sunday. I mean, if you're up for it, if you're free. I mean, you could have joined us the Sunday gone, but you were busy, weren't you? But if you are free on Sunday and you want to come talk about some news and some grow guides and shit, you're
Yeah, yeah,
always
nine
welcome.
nine you go live, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, 9 o'clock, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific.
Boom. There
Yeah,
you go, man. Good man.
yeah. It's always a good session. Yeah, it's always good to chat to you, man. And it's good to hear from you and your health's getting better. That's good to hear. You know, family's doing well. I like that shit too, of course. And
Yeah.
just on behalf of the community, man, we appreciate you, man. We doing everything that you do. I know that it can be easy to just overlook it and think of it as minor things when it's actually you doing it yourself. But you know, from an outside perspective, looking in, seeing the things that you're doing, it's inspirational, not just to me, but many people in the cannabis community. And you should know that. You should be aware of
Yeah,
that, man.
no,
So
thanks very
thanks
much,
for
man.
everything.
And
Yeah.
every single comment of appreciation that comes in and of support, like honestly, like I truly feel that, like, and I do appreciate the support that's there, and no comment positive one goes unnoticed.
Mm-mm.
The negative ones, yeah, man, let that stuff fly over my head a lot of the
Yeah.
time. But the positive stuff, honestly, guys, I really do appreciate each and every person's support out there. And most importantly, big shout out to the hot boxers. Like those guys are absolute legends. But like that's another cool thing that happened around the podcast. And I know you probably want to wrap it up, but the
No, no,
hop.
no. We're here anyway, man. Just keep
Oh
on
yeah,
talking
no.
if you want to keep talking.
Oh, excellent. I thought we might have went over time that you might have had things to do, but
No, I've got to get a beer out the freezer, but
ooh, yeah,
but
yeah.
that can wait. That can wait. I'm in no rush.
But the Hotbox, I got it's a Telegram group that got set up off through the chat that was actually happening on 420. So the 420 news was like I had a little chat box on the side, and that was
Hmm.
called the Hotbox. And then we were like, oh, there was so much crack being had there because there was sometimes I often sat doing the 420 news, and I'd be sitting there on my own, but I chat for like 3 hours with the guys in the hot box. There'd be just a full blown conversation going. We could cover like 5 or 6 articles, but for the majority of the show, we're just chatting with the hot box, and there'd be great crack being had there. In fairness, so I decided one day to just set up the 24/7 hot box. And that thing exploded pretty much. There's over 100 guys there now, and there's a real strong community there. But it keeps getting said over and over again, the support that they have for one another within there, it's absolutely amazing. Everyone kind of looks out for each other. People share different kind of stories and what's going on in their life in there. People are after making great friendships and stuff like that. But that never would have happened if it wasn't for having a place where people who consume cannabis, having that similar, what would you say, like interest, yeah, being able to come together then and finding out what other interests they have because, hey, we're actually
Hmm.
able to socialize there. We're able to actually build friendships, build relationships. And that was something that I loved about the podcast, that the community that it created, it was a uh, unintended consequence, I suppose, if you
Mm.
will, of the podcast. They actually didn't like this thing about the podcast was always get people talking, draw attention to the issue. But then on unintended consequences, we built this very strong community there. That's still active today, even though I haven't been active online myself, streaming and stuff like these guys have been in my pocket every single day, every night, every morning. Good
Hmm.
morning, guys. Good night, guys. Like they're all like, yeah, it's
It's
amazing.
something that's overlooked and it's important. You know, it's the sense of community we have here in the cannabis community. Because in real life, it can be easy for us to suffer detrimentally because we enjoy cannabis. We can't tell our neighbors. We can't tell the people who we talk to when we're dropping the kids off at school. You can't say anything about cannabis to these people. And to people like us who watch live streams about cannabis, it's an important part of who we are. A big part of our lives. And to not be able to discuss it's shit. So when you find people that you can talk to, and it starts off online, because you're kind of anonymous. You don't have to worry about your smell, and you can just talk about shit. And then the friendship gets built, and then you meet in person after that. Yeah, and that's why the bond is stronger, I think, because it's harder to come by genuine community when you're in the cannabis community. When you're in it, you're cool. But if you enjoy cannabis but not part of the community, you're a loner, man. You can't connect to anybody, and connection is important to us as people.
We're social creatures. We're a creature as humans. We need to be able to socialize. But without it, it leaves us in an unhealthy state. It's why a lot of people actually. I know two people actually who specifically gave up cannabis and just stay drinking because of the fact, because I consume cannabis, I'd stay in and just smoke and play games and stuff like that. But all my friends were going out drinking, and I wasn't able to go out on. I just gave up the cannabis then so I could go out drinking with the guys. And that those two people, I suppose, their quality of life didn't improve because of that. Um, but yeah, it's ridiculous that we don't have that social venue where we can go and enjoy each other's companies.
Yeah. My friends are still there. They like to go out to raves and pubs and play pool and get drunk. And it's like, are you coming out? No, I'll go. I'll stay at home. I want to just chill and play zombies and smoke some weed, man.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you enjoy doing. But if you had the option to be able to go out and enjoy the rave and consume your cannabis while
Yeah,
with
that
this,
would be a different story. Yeah.
you probably would. You'd probably be out there enjoying the rave, smoking your doob out there in the smoking room and whatever,
Or
and
some
going out.
mushrooms or something.
Yeah, maybe so. That'd be an interesting one, all right. I don't know how
Yeah.
comfortable you'd be taking mushrooms at a rave unless maybe a microdose.
Just a few. Yeah, just like a gram. That'll be enough.
And it's so long overdue. A good dose of psychedelics, but I'm afraid of what I might encounter just over how much shit I have to process over the last
Yeah, yeah. I know what you're
4 years.
saying, man. You have to be in the right mindset for sure.
In the right company, even
Hmm.
a fear of like wrecking everybody else's trip, like because
Hmm.
like Martin's over there processing some traumatic shit that's been going on over the last couple of years, and he's bawling and he's talking about stuff that's scaring the shit out of everybody else while they're all tripping.
Just freaking everybody out. It happens, man.
So
But
yeah,
just a little dose. Yeah, just like half a gram to a gram. Just a nice little dose. Get a good buzz. That's what I like. I don't like it like
I,
going too
I
far when it gets too much.
yeah, no, yeah, you're dead right. I've only ever gone to, maybe enough just to get colors, and stuff like that. But never full blown tripping with mushrooms. Enough to get the giggles and stuff. But
Hmm.
after listening to, was it Terence McKenna talking about like the heroic dose on the mushrooms, and hearing then from other people reading trip reports that going for those much larger doses of mushrooms, that
Yeah.
it's much closer than to a DMT trip, just with a bit more clarity to it, I suppose, if you will, and less of an intensity as well.
And I
But
saw a video about this one guy doing a trip report, and he did 10 grams of psilocybin. 10 fucking grams. And he did this on purpose. It's not like he didn't know what he was doing and accidentally took too much. It was like he sent his missus and his kid away for the weekend so he could just take this 10 grams of mushrooms and have this intense experience. And this motherfucker, 10 grams dry it was. A huge dose, huge dose. It was specifically just so he could get completely fucked, see the next dimension. This man was so into it, he would drink his piss because that's how you get rid of the psilocybin. It gets processed, you piss it out.
really
And after
process,
enough pisses, then you're not going to be so high. So he would drink his piss to keep the psilocybin flowing through his body. That's fucked, man. Oh my God, the dirty bastard.
things you do for a good trip.
Things he does, I
That's
wouldn't do that. Fuck
but
that.
that's what they used to do with the Amanita muscaria. You
That's
would
right, yeah.
the shaman would be the guy, and you would drink the shaman's piss, I believe, wasn't it?
But reindeer piss is what it was
Yeah, sorry, yeah,
originally. Yeah.
drink the reindeer's piss. Yeah, that's what it was, not the
But I'm
shaman's.
sure there is some shamans out there who would convince people, like, oh no, no, it works with my piss as well. Try it.
Yeah.
I've got a liter here. Jesus.
Imagine the fucking poor reindeers, but when they're seeing people drinking their piss, I was like, what the fuck's this guy doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I bet there's some kinky ones out there who love it, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, we discussed it before. Like, who was the first person to try that? Damn.
Yeah, yeah, you have to wonder, like, what the fuck were they at? Like, do you know, they were really thirsty, and then realized, like,
Ugh.
but like, if you're in a reindeer, like, I suppose our rain, yeah, they're not always near snow. I'm just imagining reindeer and Santa and snow in the North Pole, but like, reindeer actually aren't even in the fucking North Pole, are they? You got is it
Like Greenland
Caribou?
and shit, is it? Canada, Greenland, maybe?
Yeah, I think maybe in Alaska and shit. Maybe you
Mm.
got like caribou and stuff. That they maybe have them in Greenland. But what's fucking the North Pole got? Like, has it got like polar bears? Does it even have reindeer?
Yeah, it has polar bears. But that'll be the more Arctic Circle, I think, where most of the ice is. But I think the
Yeah.
reindeer are more like on the land, right? Like, as you say, Alaska, Canada, Greenland kind of direction.
Yeah. And I suppose if they're eating mushrooms then as well, those reindeers, they have to be in more foresty type of space, like, don't they?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the fly Eric as well.
So I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, how could you get really thirsty and around all that snow? But yeah, maybe you're in the forest.
Thinking into this too much, I think, haven't we? You know?
Maybe
Maybe
so.
that's what it was. The guy ate yellow snow from the reindeers and was like, "Whoa, what's up with this snow, bro?
Oh yes.
I'm getting it straight from the source next time." Mm. And then imagine you drink the reindeer piss without realizing he didn't eat any Amanita muscaria today. He's just drinking the piss.
Um,
Damn, people are strange, you know. People are strange.
very much so, but very much so.
Yeah. But yeah, let's wrap this up then. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I hope we can get you on Sunday as well. But of course, no pressure, man. I know you're a busy guy. We'll see on Sunday if you can make it. I'll drop you a message. You let me know if you're busy or not. But
Yeah,
good to
man,
get you on,
any
man.
excuse to get out here, sit down, and just have the crack with you. Yeah, definitely. I'll see if I can fit it into the schedule. And thanks very much for the invite on. Nice fun to everybody out there as well on the high grown. Oh, jeez, man, I'll tell you there.
You've been
High and
smoking
homegrown.
cannabis, Jesus.
Oh, definitely not enough of it. But yeah, hi to everybody out there in the high and homegrown. Nice one, guys, for having me on.
Yeah,
Really
man.
enjoy.
No, it's a pleasure. Thanks for coming and filling us in with all the information here, man. I didn't want to just read the story out, and you know, when we have the opportunity to get you on the show and actually find out what's going on, and it's you know, it's much better than reading some biased news article from a mainstream newspaper. You know how it
Yeah,
is, man. But yeah, again, I appreciate it, man. We again, and just again, just make sure you know we appreciate everything you do. You know, so keep it up, man.
nice
But
one, Mac.
don't be working too hard, but keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it, man.
I will indeed, boy. I will indeed. Come here, have a nice evening, and
Sure.
thanks again.
Yeah, man. We'll see you later, Martin.
Catch you. Good night.
Have a good week, man. I'll catch you Sunday. Bye bye. Nice. Let me end the recording there. There we go.
Recording stopped.
There's my Zoom assistant. Yes, nice conversation with Martin. Good to catch up, and good to see him still free. You know, 'cause at any time this man can get locked up for the shit that he does. He's got court cases coming up. Hopefully he won't be locked up for this bullshit. But you know, there's always that chance, man. It's concerning. Imagine how much bullshit that would be if he got locked up, taken away from his kids for this bullshit. Fuck. Ridiculous. Let's just hope that everything works out. And of course, as we move forward with the court cases and stuff, I'll keep you informed of what's going on, everybody. Make sure you're all up to date with all the information from Martin. And you can check out more from Martin. If you just do a search there on YouTube for Martin's World, if you haven't heard of him before, you'll find his channel. He's got loads of videos up there about his protests, loads of live streams. So check out that if you haven't done that already. And I'm not sure if his website is still up and running. I don't think it was when I checked it earlier, but that's martinsworld.ie. If you want to check that out, you can find him on Instagram and all the major social networks and things as well. So do support as much as you can. Go out there, follow him on the networks. That would be super cool. Yeah, very cool guy with massive bollocks. He doesn't realize that he has these massive bollocks, does he? You know, this thing, man. Yeah. So I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. I enjoyed it. I hope you all did too. Nice crowd out there. Don't forget to hit the like button, everybody, if you can. But of course, no pressure. I don't mind. But yeah, just appreciate you guys being here. If you are new, do subscribe and join us every Sunday for a live stream. And if you want to see more interviews like this, we do this pretty much twice a week, on a Tuesday and on a Thursday, but you have to be a Patreon to come and see those interviews live. And if you want to become a patron, you can do it for as little as $4.20 a month. Very cheap, very cheap. It's £1 a week. You know, it's like 60 cents per live stream. It's cheap. So yeah, become a patron if you want to. No pressure, of course. All the interviews still get released on Wednesdays. But if you want to catch them live and unabridged like this one was, then yes, head over to the Patreon. Patreon.com/Percy's Grow Room, our Cannabis Grows Forum. There we go. That's about everything. It's been fun, everybody. I think we'll just end it there now. I don't think I'll put the music on and all that. I don't think that's necessary. So yes, again, thank you everybody for being here. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. We appreciate you guys, man. Go and download some episodes from your favorite podcasting network and check out previous interviews with Martin if you haven't done that yet. Yeah, it's been good. Catch you on the next one, everybody. Stay high, stay safe, and we'll see you then.